Okay, we're up and running. So, welcoming everyone to Tier 2, ALR Season 21, Round 5, here at Fuji. This is the no chicane layout, so we're going to be a little bit faster. Not as much slow and technical stuff, but you still got the final sector for all the good MR cars, which we do have a couple of at the front. So we'll get on with it and have a quick run through the grid. So we've got a Throttlegeist on pole, first one this season. Not surprising, the 458 is probably the meta car around this track. So did well to make the most of it and get himself on pole. Should be okay with a decent launch off the line as well to maybe hold that. Then we've got Morsel in second in the Peugeot, another MR car, which we'd expect to do well. Not the biggest fan of the Peugeot, but Morsel has been enjoying it when he has raced. Did miss a race, so he's got a little bit of a deficit in the championship to make up. Then we have got the two Jaguars in third and fourth, running one-off liveries not one-off liveries, probably for the next 3 rounds, because we have got a Japanese triple header. We've got Kellen in third, championship leader, followed by his teammate in fourth. So that is great for them, for the constructors, as well as Kellen in the drivers. And Perry still in the title fight, still close enough to challenge, but he's going to have to start taking some points off his teammate if he can. You're watching it alongside the Spec Series. Fair play. I wouldn't have the concentration. I'd be dying so many times in that. And then we've got Senor Fak, another MR car in the Lamborghini. He'll be looking for a good performance. He's had good pace in the races, but the races have rarely gone to plan. He's had quite a few poor ones down at the bottom of the pack. So being up in 5th is a great qualifying for him. Then we've got Taz in 6th in the first 296. Even though it's an MR car, acceleration isn't the best, so it's probably not as good as some of the other MR cars, so being up in 6th is pretty good from Taz. Then we've got Primeco with another good qualifying up in 7th. He's been a bit up and down this season, but this was definitely one of his better performances. Then we've got X9G in 8th, second 296. A little bit lower than his pole position last week, but as we've said many times, qualifying is not his strong suit, so I expect him to make some progress in the sprint race and the feature race when that comes around. Then we've got Stigimos, new driver. I think this is his first race in ALR. I might have done some eSports rounds, I'm not sure, but this is his first one on Monday, I know that, and he's in the Alpha 4C. A bit of a tricky car. Some people get on with it quite well, others not so much, so we'll have to see. He's up in 9th, so it's a decent effort on his first qualifying. Then we have got Maynard in the Viper, and I would say that is quite a good effort in the Viper. It's probably going to roast its tyres through turn 3, but on one lap, obviously the acceleration we know is great. So that is a good qualifying from Maynard up in 10th. Then we've got Gilles in 11th, not quite making as much use of the 458 as his teammate, but again, good start, potential to maybe gain a position off the line and get into the top 10. Hasn't really matched the success he had at the first round at his track, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. But yeah, down in 11th. Then we've got Chubbs actually up in 12th. That is a good effort in the Corvette. But again, Lago, we saw that tyre wear is going to be very, very bad for the Corvette. So we'll have to keep an eye on that in the sprint race. I'm actually going to have a quick run through and see if anyone's on mediums, because mediums for the sprint is actually an option if you need it. We've got Asseldor down in 13th. That's quite surprising. I would have thought Asseldor would have done a little bit better with the Peugeot around here. He has been doing better than that this season, so maybe not getting the best lap in, or maybe possibly didn't have any slipstream, because slipstream is worth quite a lot on that long main straight. Then we've got Anonymous down in 14th. That is a big surprise. Not so much with the Mazda. I wouldn't say it was great at this track, but Anonymous being down to 14th is quite surprising. It'd be interesting to see if he comes forward. Maybe didn't get a lap in qualifying either. Then we have got Ross in the GTR in 15th. And yeah, we will see how Ross gets on. I think last time he was in the GTR, the tyre wear wasn't great, so that might be something to watch out for in this one. So a quick run back forward. Okay, nobody's going for the medium tyre, so everybody confident they can make it on the softs. Even Chubbs, which is quite surprising. As we've got 5 red lights, and they are off. Throttlegeist immediately out into the lead and covers off the inside line. Feels like he's got a big enough gap to come back to the racing line though. And he does hold it. Looks like he's going a little bit wide. The two Jaguars going side by side. Kellen having a little bit of a snap on the exit. Maybe drops a wheel onto the AstroTurf, and then we've got Prime Call challenging him, but Kellen's got the inside here. Oh, is that Perry going for a move on Mortal? Looked like he was trying it, but Mortal manages to hold on. Perry does slot into third, just ahead of his teammate. And then Maynard up into sixth in that Viper. He's electric off the line. We'll have to see if he can keep that going, as Prime Call was trying again for a move on Kellen, who's having a big slide again. Really struggling with the traction this early. Not going to be too bothered about overheating the rear tyres. It's the front left that you really want to be worried about. And he does manage to hold on to that position still. That corner not the biggest, or certainly not the best overtaking zone now that the chicane isn't there, because the braking zone is not as big. But we've already got Thrall guys starting to pull away. Maybe outside of slipstream already. That could be massive for him if he's got Mortal out of his slipstream. I think he has. I think that's big enough. So it's been a great opening lap from Thrall, guys. He's already, I think, broken the slipstream, which is great news for Perry, because it means it's going to be that much easier to potentially get a move done on Mortal. And he's got both the Jags coming for him. We've got Perry closing in. Mortal covering off the inside, but not completely, and Perry's going to send it. Gets it stopped nicely, gets it turned. Nice move there from Perry, but he's gone a little bit wide. Not a lot of grip on the AstroTurf. It allows Mortal back along the outside. Ooh, and Perry just about holds on. Did he potentially get a penalty for cutting the inside? No, I think he's okay. Just manages to hold on to that. So Mortal sliding back into third. Got to watch out for Kellen now, and Prime Call is still all over the back of Kellen. And Gio's actually made up a lot of positions, made up 5 positions since P6 already. So maybe just not nail a lap in qualifying, but he's making some great progress so far. And we've got Maynard still holding on to P7. Head of Senor Fak, who's dropped a few positions, probably just solely from the standing start of the Lamborghini. And then we have Captain Chubbs. Going to be too early to really tell if the tyre wear is kicking in, as Taz goes for a move. Oh, Senor Fak! Oh, what happened there? Was that just on his own? Or was he maybe trying to move? Oh, he just gets... I think he just got wrong-footed by Maynard having his slide, and then he couldn't see the line. Ended up going too wide onto the AstroTurf, and that's him round. Luckily he's not too far back off the pack, but with no slipstream it's going to be quite difficult to get back towards the top 10, which is where he wants to be. Got Chubbs coming under a lot of pressure. He's already down to 11th. Got a couple of people serving penalties in the background. That was Stiggy Motta and Anonyma. And potentially Ross as well, because he's a little bit slow off that last corner. We've got a group of 4. Taz currently leading it. His teammate going to the inside. No, don't think he is. Pulling out of it. And they all stay in that order. So, how are we looking up front? Kellen has managed to get the move done on Mortal, so double Jaguar podium incoming. Right now, at least. Now, can either of them do anything about Throttelgeist? He's already got the fastest lap, 35.2. At least half a second faster than Perry. A little bit more than from Kellen, and then further back it's just going to get bigger and bigger. So, can the Jaguars drop their lap times to match what Throttelgeist is doing? But he's going 3.5 tenths purple, or almost 4 tenths purple, so he's on a great lap so far. The last sector is the one where the 458 is going to be strongest. You get so much natural rotation and so much traction with it. But interesting to see what that 4/10 advantage turns out to be when they hit the line. Also going to be interesting to see if the Jaguars just keep working together. We've seen them do it many times. They end up together in the race and they just work together. They don't really fight. They are long-time teammates. In Tier 1, they think they've been teammates for the last 2 or 3 seasons maybe. And then this season in Tier 2. Okay, so Perry only ended up improving by 2/10, so lost 2 to Throttle Guy's previous lap. Kellen does manage to take the fastest lap. Obviously that slipstream from Perry is going to be helping that a little bit. What did Throttle Guys do? 34.8, so basically they matched Throttle Guys. So maybe they're going to need the bump drafting to try and close that gap in a little bit. They're just starting to break Mortal, ever so slightly. Who's got a nice gap over Prime Colin, who's about to come under a little bit of pressure from Gilles. Not super close, but he is closing in. 35.5 on the last lap. It was actually slower than Prime Colin on the last lap, interestingly. Well, he's now tucked up in the slipstream, carrying on a PB pace. And they're probably not going to have too many more laps to set PBs with the tyre wear kicking in. Particularly through that turn 3, you can see Gilles hitting the apex really nicely there, getting right onto the back of Prime Cole. Now if you can get a good exit here, could set him up in the slipstream to potentially go for a move into turn 1. Looks like you got a great exit. You can see the Jaguars just up ahead. Be interesting to see if they are going to work together or fight each other. Is Gilles starting to close? It looks like the slipstream is finally kicking in for the Ferrari. Ooh, is that maybe a mistake? The inside was still open for him, but ended up going to the outside. Or is it going to work out anyway, because he's going to give him the inside for this next left-hander. Oh, he's getting squeezed really tight to the inside. Good defensive driving there from Prime Cole. And he manages to hold on to P5 for now. Gilles taking the wider line, trying to set up the exit again. Be a brave move to try and get it done into this corner. He has the run. There's no overlap. Yeah, just pulls out, just trying unsettle him a little bit, but pulls back in. Knows he's not actually going for the move. Just wants to try and see if he can help himself set something up going forward. The Jaguars have swapped positions. I doubt that would be planned, but you never know. And it looks like the pack behind are starting to get back towards this group. It did sort of break apart for a little bit. But apart from Throttle Guys, who still looks like he's continuing to pull away out front. Looks like the field's starting to slowly come back together. He's got Gilles in the tow again. He's close, but he's not really close enough. Just pulls out to make Prime Cole think about it a little bit. But again, that's dropped him back a little bit, so Prime Cole has got good pace. They look fairly similar, they've just got the pace in different parts of the track. He's got the two new Ferraris, 296, 7th and 8th. Maynard's still holding on to P9 in the Viper, which would be a great result if he can manage it. You can see the difference in the tyre wear, that front left already screaming. Looks like it's going to have enough to get to the end. How's Chubbs doing? A little bit worse, and he's got a half-second penalty, and he's outside the top 10 already. So he's not great for his feature race going forward at the moment. Anonymous just picked up another penalty. Senor Fak has managed to close onto the back of the group. 35-0. Low 35s on the last few laps. So he's got top 5 pace, which we kind of expected. He did qualify in the top 5. Evening Prime Cole. How's it going? You're having a good race so far. Some very nice defending from Gilles. Ooh, Steamos going for a move. It's an interesting choice. Well, Chubb's got another half-second penalty on top, so 1 second in total. There's going to be 2 free positions for Senor Fak. Manages to ghost through. Is he going to be able to have a go at Stigimos? Stigimos didn't get the best exit out of the last corner. He was compromised going for the move on Captain Chubbs. Probably was then. And we've got Senior Fact trying to go all the way around the outside. Really nice move if he can make it stick. I think he's going to get a better exit. Yeah, and Senior Fact does manage to get that move. So, Senior Fact now only one position outside of the reverse grid spots. He's got a bit of a gap in front of him though, so he's going to have to put in some good laps together. But he's got the tyres to do it potentially. He's got a quick check-in at the front. Thrallgeist. Well, he doesn't look like he's extending the gap, but it doesn't really look like it's coming down much. Keller, how's the tyres? Looking quite a bit worse than the Ferrari. Not surprising. But that is going to really hamper their efforts to get any closer to Thrallgeist here. Got good pace though, and they're pulling away from Mortal still, who looks like he's potentially going to come under threat from Prime Cold pretty soon. He is within slipstream distance, and he does have better tyre wear than the Peugeot. A little bit surprising, but we know that Prime Cold's got good tyre wear. So even in the AMG, compared to the Peugeot, his front left is doing better. Oh, it looks like Gilles behind's going defensive. Got Ferrari 3 wide. Gilles still got the inside, but it's Taz that's potentially getting this move on the outside. Going to get a little bit of a bump from his teammate to help him through. Very tight racing there, but Taz did manage to get to the inside, but Gilles got the inside for turn 3. Looks like Taz is still going to be able to hold it. Only going 3 wide again. Oh, Gilles looks like a bit of a snap. That's going to allow XNAG to get the better run and give him the inside for this next corner. And getting some slipstream from his teammate. Looks like he's got that move locked in. And he has, but Gilles coming back at him. Oh, Gilles thought about it. XNAG not getting the best run through that corner. Oh, and Gilles is really wearing that front tyre. Way more than Taz, a little bit more than XNAG. Only 2 laps left, so he's not really in any concern about that. He's not that much better off than the Viper, which is kind of crazy. But this is still a great drive from Maynard to hold the Viper in P9. And Senior Fac. There's been a great comeback. If he can get into the top 10, it's going to be massive. Because he's got race leading pace. And he has closed that gap down ridiculously quick. Tucked up into the slipstream, he's got a few overtaking possibilities. Obviously the best one is going to be the final lap into turn 1. If he has to wait that long. But obviously the final corner, final lap, the racing line, he takes you wide, you have to go off it to defend. Oh, but he might be able to set something up here. Hassel going super wide. If he can get a good exit, and he looks like he has. Tucked up nicely behind Hasseldor. Probably not quite close enough to go for a move here. No, he's not close enough. Still got Stiggy Moss just behind, for a little bit of company, so he can't 100% focus ahead. And I think this little train is starting to form behind Maynard, whose tyres are starting to give up. It'd be a real shame for him to lose out on the top 10, because this is a great effort with the Viper. Oh, Stiggy Moss having a slide in the background. Senior Fac looked like he got a great exit. Had to pull out of the slipstream, but he's had to pull back in because with Hasseldor with the slipstream, it's just there's no way you're going to overtake him. Can either of these cars overtake the Viper, even with the slipstream? No, is the answer. The Viper is just too strong. There should be opportunities in the last sector for those two, though. Senior Fat right up behind Hasseldor. Still not going for the move. Maynard's tyres doing there, looking pretty shaky. Front left. The rest of the tyres are actually looking good. It's just that front left. And neither of them still not able to go for the move. The Viper's just so quick on the straights. Oh, and I think Senior Fat just made a mistake. Went into the back of Hasseldor. Don't look like it cost either of them too much, so there's still an opportunity. Yeah, and Hasseldor sending it into the penultimate corner. Oh, Maynard ended up going wide. I think we're going to have to jump to the front because Throttelgeist has just dominated this race. Start to finish. Doesn't quite get the fastest lap. But a dominant win there from Throttelgeist. The Jaguar 2-3 to round out the podium. Mortal just holds on ahead of Prime Call. Ahead of Taz. Shields did manage to get past X9G. Oh, and a half-second penalty for Maynard. Oh, that's what's going to drop him out of the top 10. That is unfortunate. Then we'll see Anonymous, Ross, then Chubbs. Let's go back and watch what happened to Maynard. I think we saw where he got the penalty. Did he get bumped wide? It looked like a fine move from a first look. After just sends it to the inside, gets far enough alongside. Looks like just sort of net code contact to me. Because Maynard's car just sort of jumps out of the way. And then that's where he got the half-second penalty. Really unfortunate. So it's not even Maynard's fault, but unfortunately he's missed out on reverse grid pole because of that. Does promote Senor back into reverse grid pole, so he's got a very good chance of potentially getting the win in the feature. And then how were Chubbs' tyres doing? Barely making it to the end, which we knew would be a problem. We knew he was going to struggle with that. But yeah, that is the sprint race. Flew by pretty quick, that. Not that one. But yeah, great race from Throttelgeist. I think he was actually... He might have been the fastest sprint race total out of everybody, including Tier 1. He definitely... I know the fastest time in Tier 2 was the fastest. I just can't remember if someone in Tier 3 also had a ridiculous race and was ahead of him as well. I think he might have been the fastest sprint time. So it really was a great race there from Throttelgeist. Okay, let's have a quick... Let's just drop back. Okay, so we have got Senor Fak on pole position. Then we've got Hasseldor X9G. So starting third for X9G, he's definitely going to be one to watch for the feature. Usually better in the features or in the races than won that pace. So starting third is going to be great for him. Then we've got Gilles, we've got Taz. Then we've got Prime Call. Marvellos, Perry, Kellen and Throttelgeist rounding out the top 10. Then we've got Maynard in the Viper in 11th. Stemos 12th, Anonymous in 13th, Ross 14th and Chubbs in 15th. Anybody going for something particularly different, or are we all going mediums or hards? So there are strategy options for this race. Some people might try medium soft if they're feeling very tyre friendly. Prime Call, I mean, if he was in an MR car, I would probably bet on Prime Call doing medium soft. He could potentially try it in this one. And then you've obviously got the regular medium hard or hard medium one stop. Still a good strategy. I think the majority of the grid will be doing that. As we've got potentially, was that Perry looking at Mortal already? And Perry actually on the hard tyres. Gets to the inside. Does he get the move done? Yeah, he does. Just managed to get the move done. Mortal's on hards as well, so they're on the same strategy at the moment. Ooh, and that's Maynard going for a late one. Just about avoids going into the back of Kellen. But actually ends up losing out to Sticky Moss there. Where did Sticky Moss come from? Because he was in 12th. So Maynard goes late on the brakes, gets up the inside of Gilles. Gilles can't quite turn into the apex. Maynard has a moment and the Stigimos straight up the inside, gains a couple of positions there. And on the mediums, so that would have made it a little bit easier, but a great move from Stigimos. He's got to make moves like that if he wants to get through the pack and use his mediums well. So let's have a quick jump up. Who's coming under a little bit of pressure? Actually, no, it's Thrallgeist, not Shields. What am I talking about? Shields up in 4th. It's Thrallgeist that got a little bit messed up from Maynard going for the move. So that's not great for Thrallgeist. Dropped a couple of positions already. So he's got a couple more people to overtake now. But Gilles is doing pretty well, staying close in the slipstream with X9G. Senior Fac's starting to build a gap out front. Here's Gilles going to go for the move here. No, he's just sitting behind for now. Oh, X9G goes deep. As long as he gets a good exit, he should be okay. Where's he on? Oh, he made a mistake. Is he on the hards? Yeah, I think he just tried to get on the power too early. Didn't have the grip to get around the corner. Ended up on the AstroTurf. And Gilles is getting a way better exit there. And Perry's making some great progress. He's already passed Prime Call as well now. So Perry's really charging forward quickly. Kellen's going to be trying to go with him. They're on the same strategy as Moore goes for a late move to the inside of Kellen. I think Kellen's going to get the better exit, although he was super twitchy over the curb. But does manage to hold on to that position. And Thrallgeist down into 13th now. That's another position gone. Although I think that was from the same incident. That was just a mistake from Kellen. Don't know if he had any help there, but he went very far off track onto the grass strip on the outside. Yeah, he's struggling to get it turned. The dirty tyres. Still got the inside for the final corner. Oh, is that Moore going to lose out to Stigimos? Potentially. Ooh, is he maybe going to get a penalty for that? Can't go all 4 wheels over the curb. If there's contact, you can usually get away with it, because the game thinks you're getting forced off the track. Now where's Kellen going? Kellen is picking who he wants to give slipstream to. Oh, he's trying to break the toe. I look like a few too many moves, but I don't think that was reported. Whoa, there's Maynard coming from a long way back. And he does overshoot, and this is now a 6-car battle. Everyone doing well to avoid him there, because he was really deep on the brakes on the inside. But everybody's still going. As we've got Thrallgeist now down to 14th, he's lost another position. This is not good for Thrallgeist. Giving himself a lot of work to do to get back to the front of the grid. Front 2 are starting to break away. Pretty sure they are the guys on 2 of the guys on mediums. So they need to make the most of this free air while they've got it. Thrallgeist, he's not really looking to set up a move. He's close, but not really getting in great positions as he now looks to the inside. Guess there gets it turned. How's Chubb's exit? Chubb's on the hards as well, so this is an equal fight. Thrall starting to come under a little bit of pressure from Ross. And Ferrari doesn't have the best top end speed, so this isn't particularly surprising, but he should have the pace. Maybe he just can't use the line he wants with the traffic ahead of him. Or with Ross behind, because he can't leave the insides open all the time. Because Ross will absolutely take advantage of that and go for a move. Looks like everybody's pretty much line astern, so let's go have a check in at the front. Low 36s on the mediums for Senior Fac. Kind of high 36s for Asador. But they're both pulling a decent gap to Taz. Taz is actually on the mediums as well. So Taz is going to be hoping to go with them, but he's lost quite a lot of ground already. He has made up a few positions. I think he started 6th. So he has managed to get to the front of this. Perry keeping his march up the field going on the hard tyres. He's almost the highest hard runner already. Managed to separate himself from his teammate, who's actually coming under pressure from Anonyma. Anonyma on the medium tyres. So Kellen is going to be stuck in this battle for a while, because both Stigimos and Anonyma have got the softer tyre. Stigimos trying to go all the way around the outside. Don't think he... Ooh, no, I think he's managed it. And it's potentially going to allow Anonyma through, but Stigimos immediately covers off Kellen. That gives him the slipstream, and now he's changed his mind. But it was enough to get Kellen ahead of Anonyma. And now Stigimos going defensive again. And they're going 3 wide into turn 1. Stigimos gets it stopped nicely. Looks like he's held that position. Is Anonyma going to get Kellen? Kellen's going to have the inside, but with the softer tyre, Anonyma's still got a chance of getting this done. Tries to set up a switchback, means he's got to go around the outside of turn 3 though. Thinking back out of that, but maybe setting something up into turn 4. No, still he's trying to set up a good exit somewhere. And you can understand why, because that might be a penalty for Kellen. Has a big slide on the exit, goes all the way over the curb. Is the game going to be nice? Looks like it will be. Managed to get away without a penalty. We'll have slightly dirty tyres. I'm surprised that Anonyma didn't look for a move there. It was super close, looked like he got a much better exit. Maybe thinks that the move into turn 1 is just going to be easy now that Stigimos has got a bit of a gap. Needs to keep an eye on Mortal, who's close behind. Oh, nice prime call going wide out of the final corner. And Stigimos drops back towards Kellen, and that half-second penalty is probably going to drop him 2 positions at least. Drops 1. Now he pulls in right behind Anonyma. Is it going to cost him a position to Mortal? Looks like it might. Yeah, and it looks like it will. Stigimos later on the brakes, but Mortal's got the inside line. That's the one you want. And Anonyma, is he going to get this move done? Well, he's put himself in the same position again. Has to back out of it. Oh, Kellen going super close to the limit there. Anonyma, I think he is trying to go all the way around the outside now. And it looks like he set this up really nicely. Gets an easy move into turn 4 as long as he can get a good exit. Looks like he has. Kellen's close though. Be interesting to see if he fights back. Looks like, yeah, looks like he's fighting back. No, backs out of it. Hard tyres on the inside line. Not really where I wanted to be. Not an easy move by any means. So, Anonyma is through. Up into 8th now. Then we've got Prime Call, X90G Shields. Perry has made it past Shields now, so he's the highest runner on the hards. And Taz has started to pull away. What's his times dropped to? Managed to get into the 36s. So now that he's in clean air, he is matching the times of the guys up ahead. He's actually going faster right now. They've still got a few laps before they come in. They'll probably run the mediums as long as they can, and then do as little time on the hards as possible. As we've got Gilles, I'm not sure if he's trying to tell Perry that he wants to work together. Because he didn't look particularly interested in going around the outside there, he just followed Perry. So it'll be interesting to see, well, one, if Perry can pull away now, because he's made his way through the pack ridiculously quickly. If Gilles can stick with him, because he will definitely be wanting some slipstream down the main straight if he can. That is the big weakness of the 458, is top speed. And he's currently in the top 5, but he's net second on this strategy. So depending on how things work out, he's potentially fighting for a podium. but the grid is still super close. The top 3 are the guys on mediums that have started to build a bit of a gap, but the rest of the pack is pretty close. Got a couple of guys off the back. Who are the guys that are off the back? Chubbs and Thrallgeist is still stuck down with this group. I mean, he looks like he might be saving a lot of fuel, but I mean, with his pace, he really wants to be in clean air doing his own laps. Now, he's got a good opportunity now. If he can get this move done, get ahead of Ross, get in some clean air, he should have the pace to close down to the cars ahead. But he is pulling out. Side by side, we can see it's just not got the legs to keep pulling. Should be able to get the move done though. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. Ross was trying to sneak to the back to the inside there, but Thrallgeist covered it off, made it to the apex. So it's big for Thrallgeist. He's got to get away from Ross now. Can't afford to be in any more fights. We know he's got the pace. He's got to start making his way forward. Maynard still doing a good job. He's not dropping back off the pack of the guys on hards. A Viper acceleration is really going to be saving him, because that's really all it's got once its tyres are gone, and they're already half worn pretty much. Kellen and Mortal still stuck together. They're behind a couple of guys on the mediums, which are going to be starting to come back towards the hards, but Stiggy Moss's mediums are looking pretty good. I'm not sure if any of these are going to be trying the medium soft strategy. Stiggy Moss and Anonymous have got good looking, the tyres look good. So does Taz. Don't think Asseldor's going to be able to do it. Senor Fact, this could probably going to be the rear left that actually goes first. And that might be a little bit too risky. When he's got this pace and he's got a gap out front, it might not be worth the risk for him. Perry has managed to pull away from Shields a little bit. Shows he's not quite able to stay tight to the back of Perry. Let's go on to this battle, because Anonymous tyres are looking pretty good. Especially when you compare them to the hards, they're not too much different. So he should still have a little bit of a pace advantage from that. And you've got a much better exit, but he's being forced to the outside. Maybe set something up. Ooh, not quite, although Prime Call, yeah, he did manage to. Thought Prime Call had managed to cover it off. But he forced Prime Call to defend, ended up going a little bit too deep and opened the door for the corner after. So, Anonymous keeping marching through the field. Looks like he got a decent enough exit. It's got a little bit of gap up to these guys. Might still be in slipstream though, just about. But XIG is very close to Gilles, and Gilles, I don't think he's getting any help from Perry at the moment. So the new Ferrari versus the old Ferrari again, and he's sending it. Manages to get through, but he goes deep on the exit and allows Gilles to cut back up the inside. He did come from a long way back there. And we know he said before it's never too far back, but I think that time was the one time. It was a little bit too far back. But he's still sticking right behind Gilles for now. Gonna want to get this move done before Anonymous gets to him. Just adds another layer of complexity when you got a car behind. Especially with such a long straight. With a double slipstream, you can gain a lot on that straight. You can end up making a move on the car ahead, but the car behind you also makes the move on you, and then you've gained nothing. How are they looking on tyres? Shields looking after his tyres a lot better in this race than he did in the sprint race. Because they're basically the same as X9G. But Honda's doing a good job looking after his as well. Asador's already in. That's an interesting choice. Is he trying the two-stop potentially? Not sure I heard anyone try the two-stop. Very interesting to see what tyres he goes on to. And what if he puts any fuel in. He's fueling up. No, he's going to the end. No, he's not going to the end. He's going for the two-stop. Okay, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. I hadn't really considered that, to be honest. The pit lane isn't that long, but it's rarely the way to go here. Perry's got some great pace right now. Just took 6 tenths out of Taz. Zinfax dropped his lap times back down into the high 36s. So his mediums are still holding on really well for now. But yeah, this is a great race so far from Perry. Made a lot of quick progress. And we've missed the move. X9AG has finally got past Shields. Was it into turn 1 when we swapped away onto Asador? I think it was. Is Shields going to defend? No. X9AG gets a little bit closer, manages to make the apex this time. And gets the move done. Shields, I don't think, interested in fighting. Otherwise he would have defended into turn 1. And he's just happy to sit behind for now. We'll get him a little bit of slipstream on the straight as well again. Which he's going to need if he's going to keep ahead of an Onoma. But X9G is starting to just pull away a little bit. Like I said, this is where the 458 is good. This is the section for the 458, the last sector. So he might be able to close that back up and get really tight to the back of him. Get some good slipstream. It looks like he is. He's also taking a little bit tighter lines. But yeah, look how much he's closed back up to the back of him now. Oh, and Onoma going a little bit deep on the brakes. And he gets close, well within slipstream range. Probably going to protect him from an Onoma. Is he going to think about going for the move? Or is he going to work together? Pulls that into the clean air. X9AG going defensive. Yeah, I don't think Shields wants to fight. Definitely didn't want to try it around the outside of turn 1. These three super close together now. Still got Prime Call and Stiggy Moss relatively close to the back of the group. How are we looking behind that? Ooh, what's happened to Kellen? Is he pitted? No, I think Kellen's made a mistake. Yeah, a couple of laps ago. A 147. That is not great for Kellen. He's legitimately down into 14th. Yeah, and Throttle guys, look at his pace now. He's already down into low 37s. He's matching what Perry was doing on the hards. So this is the pace that we... Maybe. We didn't see what happened. Maybe he was pushed, he didn't jump. Who knows? But what he did look like he was having a lot of trouble on traction at a couple of the corners with the hard tyres. Now, Throttle Guy's starting to close, well, he's closed a lot on Maynard. He's starting to get close enough to pick up some slipstream. But interesting to see when the hard runners do decide to pit. We've got some coming in now. Who was that up ahead? Another Throttle Guy's coming in. It was his teammate Gilles, so team strategy. Throttle Guy's got a little bit more fuel. Not much though. Probably used a lot of it to close in the gap. Went too wide on the turn 1 exit. Yeah, super easy to do. So, Shields and Throttle guys, pretty sure going to be going to the end on a set of medium tyres. Aston obviously going to be out ahead of them. Kellen, low, mid 37s. So he's closing to the guys ahead. So I think we've got a couple laps before he gets there to challenge. Absolutely. And we've got Prime Call, Stiggy Moss, Anonymous, and XNAG. So, the top 3 pretty evenly spaced out. So, in fact, still doing really good lap times, still low 37s. Probably going to go one more lap. If I had to guess, no, he's already coming in. Interesting, I probably would have chanced that one more lap on the mediums. Taz is going to be staying out for another one. Perry's coming in off the hards, so is next AG. Anonymous going again on the mediums. Is he going to try the one stop on the medium soft? Needs to get 16 laps on these, so 3 more laps on the mediums if he's going to try that. Moses carries on for another one, so does Ross and Chubbs going side by side. Chubbs still holding the inside. But Ross looks like he's going to get the switch back. But can he match the acceleration of the Corvette? It doesn't look like it. I feel like you have moments every lap. It's just that they don't seem to cost anything. Feels like X and AG's having a slide, he's becoming a catchphrase. So, how are the tyres? They're not that different between the Corvette and the GTR, so I think Chubbs has been really looking after these tyres well. But Ross still managing to stay close. Are they potentially going to be pitting this lap? Taz has carried on again. Maybe Taz is going for the medium soft. Anonymous carries on. Morsel is coming into the pits. So we got Ross in the slipstream again. Can he manage to get this move done this time? Doesn't look like he's quite as close as he was the last lap. Yeah, it looks like he's a bit too far back to potentially go for anything here. But they do carry on. So, maybe not having the greatest confidence in the tyres. I think they're possibly going medium soft, both Anonymous and Taz. It is doable. I managed it in Tier 1. Wasn't particularly fast, but that was more of a me problem. But Anonymous and Taz seeming like they're making it work. Taz was obviously in third before the pit stop started. He's going to get undercut by a lot of people on the mediums. Like Perry and Gilles, perhaps, because they were close. Pretty close to him. But I would expect Taz to be going another one here, and it looks like he is. Is Anonymous going to be doing the same? His tyres can go enough to do the extra lap, so I would expect him to stay out as well. And he is. Ross has not managed to get this move done. But are these drivers going to pit in? Looks like Ross is, or is he just following the slipstream? No, I think they're both coming in. Yeah, and that is going to hand Asador, well, he's still got the net race lead, going to put him up into P3 for now. Obviously going to gain those positions when Taz and Anonymous pit. But Senor Fak is going to be the actual net race leader, because we know that Asseldor's got to pit again. He's going to have a job to do to defend from Perry, because Perry's been quick in this race. He's quick in the sprint as well, he's quick in qualifying. But he's really impressive on the hards. Now he's onto the mediums. Can he keep that pace going? Shields managed to jump ahead of X9G with the undercut. Then we've got more Thrallgeist up into 9th. So Thrallgeist really starting to make his way forward. 35.9 on the mediums. That is good lap time. Just had a prime call. Maynard on the mediums as well. Kellen not far off making a potential move on Maynard, I think. Actually, they're both on medium tyres, so it might be a little bit longer than that. Ross has managed to undercut Captain Chubbs massively. And Stigmos is on another set of mediums. But he's fueled to the end. So that's potentially going to be a penalty coming in. Taz is going for another lap. Well, no, you can do 17. 17 is an option. You can either do 17.8, makes your life a lot easier on the softs if you can. I'm not sure it's the fastest way. I think Anonymous is doing the right thing, going for 16 and 9. And like I said, everybody's getting promoted up a position. Where is Anonymous going to come out? Is he ahead or behind Thrallgeist? Just behind. That's not the worst thing for him. Kellen with a 35.6 on mediums. That is good pace. But Anonymous on the softs. Being behind Thrallgeist is not the worst thing in the world. Thrallgeist we know has got the pace, and Anonymous gonna have to manage the tyres to get him to go 9 laps. So sitting in the slipstream, but just not pushing the tyres too hard in the corners, is not going to be too bad for him. Which is a little bit counterintuitive to what it is normally, because normally you absolutely want clean air. But I think in this situation it's not too bad. Where is he? X9G has just got past Shields. Oh, probably we've got a sketchy moment coming. Feel like we've got to catch it, we usually do. It's not happening yet, but he's coming under a lot of pressure. Just going super wide, trying to set up a good exit. Oh dear. X9G having a big slide. Loses the position to Giles. Probably only going to lose that position though, as his teammate finally comes in. And he doesn't have to put a lot of fuel in. Actually managed not to get undercut by anybody going onto the mediums. He was already behind Senor Fak and Asseldor already. Taz is in a great position, because he should be able to push a little bit more with the soft tyres doing 8 laps. So Taz has got a decent chance at fighting for the win, because he only needs to catch Senor Fak on the hards. So he's actually got a great chance for a win, because Asseldor we know has got to pit again. It's got a while to go yet, got quite a lot of fuel. And plenty of tyres. So, Taz might be making this medium soft strategy work exceptionally well. So let's go back to this battle. Everybody at the front is a little bit spaced out right now. We've got Shields and X9G still going at it. X9G undoing all of his good work getting the move done with that slide at the last corner. But he's still right on the back of him, and the 296 has much better top speed than the 458. And he's super close already, so this might be quite an easy move for X9G. Yeah, pulls out of the slipstream, alongside, now he's ahead. Is Shields going to swap to the inside, try and take the position back? No, just stays to the outside. Not sure if Shields, because he did do the undercut, maybe he needs to manage the tyres, so doesn't want to fight too much. Luckily right now it's the front left that's going, which will make it a lot easier to deal with than one of the rear tyres going. He's about to come under some pressure from Mortal though. Yep, you just made it in time. How did you enjoy the wet weather spa? I'm sure it was a fantastic experience. And we've got Anonymous. I don't know if he's looking for the move or not. Because like I said, I thought sitting behind Throttle Guys might be the way to go. Because Throttle Guys is still doing 35.8, low 36. Nice. Very nice. It definitely looks like the fun's about to start. It is getting very, very dark. And it can rain at Fuji. And Perry's into the pits. So the rain, the rain must be coming. There's no reason for him to pit otherwise. He's gone early. His teammates followed him in. So both the Jaguars. Kellen's got way less fuel. Did Perry overfill maybe? Or Kellen underfill, because Ross has only got 35 as well. Perry onto the intermediates. Were they wipers going? There's no rain on the track. Got Morton's Shields going side by side. Oh dear, that is heavy rain. That is heavy rain. Already intermediate conditions, only just. But they've got to be careful in this last sector. You can see how careful they're having to be. Just taking it so easy. Ooh, bit of a slide there. Who else is going? Oh, Sinofak. Yeah, he's on the hard tyres. Oh, somebody else has gone? Or was that Sinofak's yellow flag? Oh, Taz has gone as well. X9G's managed to keep it going. Mortal's in the wall. Anonymous kept it going for now. Shields taking it super steady. Sinofak's back on track. And Perry's got a 3-second penalty. But he's on the right tyre. So he'll have gained a lot in this section. Obviously goes the same for his teammate and for Ross. Oh, and Throttelgeist! So close to the pits there. Anybody going to bin it into the pits? Think everybody's okay. This works out really well for Hassel though. Because he was already on the 2-stop, so he's got himself a lot of track position. And is Perry going to be ruining that 3-second penalty? I think he might be. Would have definitely given him the position on Taz. Oh, but he's gone way too deep into the braking zone of turn 1. Back on the track. Kellen up into 5th, so that's worked out brilliantly for him. Don't think anybody's going to be going on to wet, so this might be all the rain we're getting. It's just a sudden monsoon has hit the track for like a minute. Gios gets that position on Mortal. Sinofak, one of the biggest losers out of all this. Down into 9th. Then we've got Ross now up into the top 10. Making the same gamble that the Jaguars did. And you've got to say, they probably called it exactly right. I think maybe if you were in the top 3, you were okay staying out on the slicks as long as you didn't spin, because you were far enough around the lap by the time the rain really kicked in. But you hadn't lost that much time. Oh, Stiggy Moss has gambled on the wets. That might be a mistake. But he's in 15th, a little bit off the back of the pack anyway. So it's a gamble worth taking. And now, who is the wet weather master in these conditions? Yeah, absolutely. Well, the rain's still coming down. It's not quite got into full wet conditions though. And we've got Perry already in front of Taz. I think Taz having to do a lot of fuel saving. And I think Perry playing it very carefully into turn 1 after the last lap. You do have to be careful if you're running weak ABS as well. It does make braking a little bit harder. But he's fighting back into turn 2. Trying to go around the outside, puts him on the curb though. Almost gets to the inside. Taz managed to hold it, but he's giving himself a little bit of a compromised line. If Perry can get a good exit. And I think Perry taking the right line there. That dry line, it's not normally the racing line, but that little bit drier line, it's probably where you want to be. It's not going to be a significant difference right now because the off-track is fairly similar. Yeah, and they look very similar, like they're almost identical in terms of colours. This is very confusing from a distance. But X90G is the one who's really closing up. I think Taz has got a lot of fuel saving to do because he's got even less than X90G right now in terms of fuel. Can Perry pull enough to pull behind Taz? Don't think so. Taz giving the slipstream to X90G. X90G, I would assume, is going to bump his teammate here. Or not. Never mind, no teamwork between the Ferraris. Unless that was a little bit of synchronised swimming in getting X90G up ahead. And Taz is just going to defend for his life against Perry. Perry's going to be desperate to get this move done. It looks like he's being held up so much. Taz managing to hold it on so far. Perry surely got to try and send it around the outside here. The sun's already looks like it's coming out and drying up the track. So now they're taking that inside line that Perry was taking is going to be a big advantage if he can get to it. Is it going to be enough? Oh, it gets him alongside. And if Taz is fuel saving, could give Perry a run, but you don't want to be on the outside of this corner. Has to back out. Oh, there's a slide of his own. Off track, manages to save it though. Does cost him a little bit of time to Perry though. Or to Taz rather. And X90G has gone. Absolutely gone. Pretty sure the top two are the guys on pad. So that is going to help in these conditions a little bit. Asador's strategy has worked out beautifully in all this. Absolutely beautifully. Moving off to cool the tyres a little bit. You can see it's drying out ridiculously quickly. Everybody's going to be doing that. I don't think we're really in danger of the intermediates dying by the end. Although we need to wait for someone to go on the dry line. So Taz already back on the dry line. It's almost down to dry conditions. So while Perry's got a little bit of a gap, we'll have a quick rundown of how everybody else is doing. We've got Kellen up into P5, pitting early on the intermediates. Anonymous, it's not worked out badly for Anonymous at all. He was probably on for around this position potentially, without the rain, so we couldn't say he's gained or lost in all this. Mortal, I think, has gained a little bit. Gilles probably has lost a little bit. Don't know if he span, but I think he was taking it very easy when it started raining and he was on slicks. Oh, and Sinofak, he definitely lost out big time because of his spin when it was wet and he was on the slicks. There we got Ross still holding on ahead of Prime Call. Definitely worked out well for Ross in this one. Maynard, I think he was probably on for this position anyway. Throttle Geist is really not worked out well for at all. And Stigamos has gambled on a set of softs, but he does have damage. There's a chance he can get the fastest lap here. It's unlikely, because it's still quite damp. But he will have 2 laps, as long as he doesn't make a mistake and get lapped. But Hasseldahl has got a pretty comfortable gap. Taz definitely does not. Perry's pulling alongside. Surely going to get this move done finally. He does. Surely he's got to cover off the inside. Do not give him any opportunities to come back at all. Does he get it stopped? A little bit deep, but not enough to let Taz back through. And Perry does manage to hold on to that position. How's Taz looking on the fuel? A lot worse. I think Perry has got too much here. Oh, and Taz is going for the move back. He's on the wet part of the track though. Oh, and Perry's trying to do the up and under, and I think he's got it. Yeah, that dry line on the inside. I think Perry's got the right idea with that. Not sure Taz had much choice on that attempt, because he was so tight to the inside, he was always going to go wide. But Perry is starting to eat through those tyres now. So the finish line cannot come soon enough. If we can get a good exit, should be okay. But we've got to go on board with Hasseldahl as he comes to the line to take the win. Not sure his strategy was going to work out if it stayed dry, but he's absolutely played it to perfection in terms of the timing for his second pit stop, and he takes the win. XNAG managed to get himself up into second. Perry is just going to hold on to P3 ahead of Taz. Kellen recovers to P5 thanks to the rain. Anonymous just holds on ahead of Mortal. Gilles in 8th. Senior Fight going to get 9th. Ross should be able to hold this to the line over Prime Call. Prime Call's got a good run, but I don't think the line is going to be far enough away, and it's not. Nose to tail over the line. Maynard gets 12th. Still a good effort in the Viper. Same for Captain Chubbs in the Corvette as well. Then we got Thrallgeist. We saw him have a spin on the way into the pits. He's going to be very disappointed with the feature race. Has so much pace in the sprint, but just didn't have much of an opportunity to show it, and Stiggy Moss has lost the final lap attempt. He's already 6 seconds down on that time. So while Stiggy Moss is just having a little bit of a run to the line, let's go and see what the standings look like. Because this is post-Stewards results. So we've got Kellen still leading, 161, 25 point lead over XNAG, and 37 over his teammate. Then we've got Mortal in 4th, 86, quite a long way back, so it's pretty much, I would say, down to a 3-person race at most for the championship. Both the Jaguars and the Ferrari. And Sticky Moss sends it over the line. And Jaguar have a pretty dominant lead in the constructors, 69 point lead. So they're looking pretty locked into that unless they make a mess of the last few rounds. And we do have a completely wet round in round 7 at Artopolis, so that could definitely throw a spanner in the works for both championships. But yeah, that is it for this week. We'll be back next week at Tokyo South counterclockwise. I think a bit of a server favourite track. Is quite popular. Definitely going to favour the faster cars on the straight line. So that's probably the Jaguar over the 296, but 296's got good top speed, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But yeah, that's it from me. I will see you guys all next week. Have a good one.